Hello. So this is why I'm a disappointment to my Mexican culture. I don't even know where to start with this. Being Mexican American is tough. Anglos jump all over you if you don't speak English perfectly, and Mexicans jump all over you if you don't speak Spanish perfectly. We gotta prove to the Mexicans how Mexican we are, and we gotta prove to the Americans how American we are. We gotta be more Mexican than the Mexicans and more American than the Americans, both at the same time.
It's exhausting.
Yes, I'm quoting Selena, but it's so real. It's oddly cathartic to hear it out loud in a movie. Number one, my native tongue is Spanglish. I learned both English and Spanish at the same time. I don't remember a time in my life where I didn't know either language. I just always have known. My dad was brought up here in the US. He was educated in the US, so he spoke English around the household, and my mom spoke predominantly Spanish. My older siblings and my older cousins would speak English mostly. I was born and raised in Central California, and the majority of the people here are Latino. We had a lot of English learners and English learning classes going on. My elementary school had tracks. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, but when I was in first grade, I was in blue track. So the teacher would be speaking English and Spanish to the students. I felt like I was always just a little bit more ahead than my peers because of my older siblings, and I just understood things a little bit quicker. So I remember my first grade teacher spoke to my mom one time and told her, you know, I don't think Delfino belongs in blue track. I think he belongs in yellow track, which is pretty much where all the white people were, all the Anglos were. My first grade teacher insisted I switch over to yellow track because I needed to be challenged more. After my mom spoke with my dad, they agreed that it'd be better for me to switch over to yellow track, so I switched over. It felt normal to me. I mean, the kids didn't treat me any differently. I didn't see the kids any differently. I mean, I was like, what, 7 years old? So I just thought it was like, oh, new people, new experiences. I was excited for it. Number two, I am an American. I was born in the US. I am Mexican American. I am technically first generation Mexican American, but because my dad grew up here, I relate a little bit more to the second generationers, if you will. I acculturated to the American culture. I learned and incorporated the values, beliefs, the language, and the customs of the American culture. Number three, I reject my Catholic upbringing. Of course I went to church every Sunday. I remember every Sunday would be a bunch of yelling throughout the house for everyone to hurry up and get ready because we were gonna be late. And of course we were usually always late to church, but it never stopped us from going. I was baptized. I did my confirmation when I was 4 years old in Mexico, I believe. And I went to catechism and did my first communion when I was like 7 or 8. The one part of this religious journey that I remember enjoying was the prayer. It was one of the first times that I felt in connection with spirituality. It was exciting to me to finally put this feeling and connect it to something. But as I got older, I learned that spirit doesn't necessarily equate to religion. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I really don't remember much from catechism. I remember them teaching us a lot about Jesus. And I went to catechism for like 2 years, but to be honest with you, I found it as a chore and something that I felt like I had to do because obviously I didn't want to do it, but my parents forced me to do it. And it was on Saturdays, and Saturdays was usually when I had soccer games going on. So in my mind, while I was in class, I was thinking about the soccer game that I was about to head to. So all the information just like went in one ear and out the other. That's why now I can't really tell you anything that I learned. I remember I got in trouble one time. I don't usually get in trouble. I'm a good kid. I like to do all my work and everything. Sister Caridad got me in trouble because I didn't do a worksheet on my pamphlet or something, and she stayed quiet and she just stared at me, and I was like, I thought she was gonna like grab out her ruler and be like, "Kata." It wasn't like that. She was really nice, but she just said that she had to tell the upper people, the upper sisters, that, you know, we have to take this seriously, and that they would talk to my parents and I was gonna get reprimanded and blah, 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 and all that stuff. Obviously, you can tell that I didn't take that seriously. What I recall was everything that they were teaching us in catechism was so outdated, and it didn't seem real to me. It just seemed like a bunch of stories that they were making up. But I'm just being honest, guys. I'm trying to be as honest as I can with you guys. And the older that I got, the more I realized that organized religion, it's not a lifestyle that I am choosing to follow. My little sister, who's about 6 years apart from me, stopped going to church with us on Sundays when she was about 10 or 11 years old, and my parents never even questioned her. Why do I have to keep going and she doesn't get to go? It was a very strange dynamic. You know what? I need to ask her about that, as to why she was allowed to stay home, but I wasn't. Maybe they sensed that I had some sort of a demon inside of me and they thought that hopefully going to church would take it away from me. I don't know. Anyway, number 4, I am queer. Because the majority of Mexicans are Catholics, they were brought up to believe that anything not heterosexual was a sin. Religion is stemmed out of fear. People practice religion out of fear. And what do they fear? They fear the unknown. So they paraphrase a book written ages ago and they follow that out of fear. So some Mexicans believe that anything that has to do with homosexuality, pansexuality, bisexuality is a sin and it's derived and worshiping the devil. I can't. Number 5, I don't like to party. Now don't get me wrong, I had my share of going out when I was 21 years old and experimenting with the bar scene, because I mean who doesn't want to do that? That's what you see on TV and it looks super fun, and I did have a lot of fun. It was only for a period of time. I didn't see myself doing that for the rest of my life. Absolutely not. Mexicans like their booze and they love to party. And I honestly am one of those little Mexican children. My parents would just lay me down on the chairs when I was tired, or would just lay me in some random bed of some stranger's house while they continued partying outside. Growing up, you also have those uncles, aunts who take their drinking a little too far and don't know how to act. And most Mexicans suppress their feelings. The only way that they can express themselves is by drinking. They finally got some liquid courage inside of them. They are able to express what they really feel to others that are around. That is why for me, I just chose not to be part of it. I mean, I'm pretty much sober at this point. I think I'll drink every now and again. I prefer quality drinks now over quantity. And to be honest with you, I was never really a good drinker, like a good drinker. When I did my binge drinking in college or in my early 20s, I would always get sick. My body just couldn't handle it. And I remember feeling like absolute crap the next morning. Like, why am I doing this? The night before was not worth the next day's hangover. Absolutely not for me. No thanks. So now that I'm in my later 20s and I go to family parties or outings and I don't drink, some of my Mexican peers can see it as disrespectful, but I let them know that, hey, I'm just not about that life anymore. And I hold no judgment to people that like to drink and like to party and can handle their alcohol. But to those who can't handle their alcohol, I don't think you should be drinking at all. And last but not least, I'm not married and I don't have any kids. Mexicans procreate pretty early and pretty fast. As we've seen all these series of unfortunate events unfold in the US throughout the past decade, it really makes you hold off on bringing a family into this world. As a Mexican American male, you have no idea how many times I've been asked, oh, when are you gonna settle down? Oh, tienes novia? Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, no, sorry, not right now. And I'm not against it at all. And if I were to meet someone, I would definitely have that conversation with them about bringing someone else into this world. But to be honest, I want to enjoy my time with my significant other for a while before I choose to jump into procreating. Is it because I'm not part of this systematic Mexican culture that I am a disappointment to the Mexican community? Maybe, but you can't change someone's mind about what they think of you. You can only be you and live for yourself and hold your own values. If the Mexican culture can define me in one word, they would probably say that I'm selfish. I'm not offended by that at all. I finally decided to live for myself, and I've lived a very fulfilled life up until this point. I'm very proud to have Mexican roots. Despite all their flaws, it is an absolutely beautiful culture that thrives on family and love and acceptance. They really support you regardless of their beliefs. And regardless of what my Mexican culture may think of me, I know that I always have a home with them because I am part of them and they are part of me too. Even though it may seem like an identity crisis every now and again, there's something very special about being part of two cultures and being able to mix both cultures into one. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and let me know if you guys relate to any of this or if you guys have anything else that you guys may want to add. Thank you very much. You guys have a good one.